Izzy.
Hello, Kirstie.
Hello, my friend.
Ah, it's good to see you.
How are you? Stop being fake for the camera. Be you.
I am.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I went back home to Hawke's Bay. First time since Mum's actually, when she passed away about a year ago. So spent a bit of time with Dad and went out to see Mum for a wee couple of minutes and reflected. And it was actually really good for me, actually, because all year I've been like bottling it up and just kind of putting it to the side and probably taking it out on my family back at home and haven't been able to like grieve. So when I got back home, it was actually quite good just to be able to go out there and by myself and have half an hour with Mum and just let it all out. And I felt, yeah, really amazing afterwards. I tried to go out there and get her to give me some good luck for golf, but that didn't work. I was horrible. But yeah, awesome to go see Dad and just see all the family and spend some time with Mum out at the cemetery.
I don't want to upset you because that's not what this is about. But how has that whole process been for you?
Oh, the process has been challenging, I must say, right up to Mum's diagnosis. I remember she rang us as a family and we were all sitting there on the FaceTime and, you know, you could see everyone and then she just said, "Oh, I'm sick." I was like, "Oh, what?" And she said, "Cancer." And then, yeah, I lost it. I'm, you know, because I'm Mummy's boy. So I'm the young one, soft as, always been Mummy's boy. And yeah, so I just broke down. And then this whole year, and I flew back straight home to see Mum and Dad. And then Mum had to go see the doctor to get the real diagnosis of what's going to happen going forward. And I remember walking in that room and sitting there and the doctor was just trying to have a laugh and Mum was having a laugh and then he just said, "Yeah, you got 3 months to live and 6 months if you get chemo." And yeah, the hardest thing I ever had to do, sitting there, seeing Mum. And probably the worst people you should take in there, you know, just because I broke down and lost it and then Dad broke down and lost it and Mum was just, yeah, stink. Just Mum having a laugh and yeah, and then I just told the doctor, like, I got pretty angry and then walked out and grabbed Mum and went back home and just tried to pray as much as I could. But yeah, we had a good year with Mum. We all flew home and spent time together and just really connected. And I think if you look at a shining light out of it, it actually made our family tighter and more connected because we constantly looking out for each other and, you know, I don't know, it's just really brought us together and that's what my mum wanted. She never wanted us to... She was always our anchor in our family. She'd always bring people together and that was the one thing I was really worried about when she passes is the disconnect that we're going to get from her leaving. But it's actually made us stronger and we've come together and... but yeah, it's been a hell of a year, Kirst, just constantly getting through it. But the hardest thing is my daughter's got a little bed light by her bed and my mum, she wrote a message for us, actually. If I got my phone, I'll read it for you. Where is it? It's pretty... but anyway, Tilly makes me... Tilly makes me read it every night before I go to bed. And it's like, "Look to the moon, I'm everywhere. Look to the sun, I'll keep you warm." Blah, 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 and goes through this whole thing. So she's left this message. So every night I have to remember my mum because I walk out the door and Tilly's like, Dad, you haven't read Nanny's message." So you just go back, read the message. And every night, honestly, just get a bit of a choke up every single time, go give her a hug. But that's the hardest thing is Tilly and my mum were really tight and they only got to spend 2 years together. And then Mum passed away, so... Yeah, I'm doing okay, just getting through it.
Your mum, this like anchor and this shining light for your family, tell us why or what she was like for you personally. You know, what your mum did for you, the sacrifices growing up, why you loved her so much and you were a mummy's boy.
Wow, I don't know where to start really. Mum, she worked so hard. We got all brothers I got a lot of brothers and sisters, and we had a big family. And Mum and Dad, they broke up when we were younger, and we had a separation. My brother's living with Dad, and me and my sister were living with Mum, and it was crazy times. I remember, just days like waking up, no food. And it was those days you'd be sitting there, and I don't know if you remember the power. You go swipe it with the card, and it's got money, and it slowly trickles down, and then it's and it runs out. So I remember being there, and it's like 30 cents, and you're like watching this power thing. It's going down 28 cents, 26 cents, and then bang, power's off. Payday ain't for 2 days, so like sitting there, no power for a couple of days, no food. But Mum, being Mum, went out, worked hard. She was studying to be a nurse, so she was a Māori nurse for Tai Whenua in Hawke's Bay. So she was studying, working at the mental health psychiatric ward in Hawke's Bay, and studying, and then trying to send me to a private school. Worked extremely hard to give us everything I want. We needed as a family, or what I wanted. So just seeing her work ethic, what she did for all of our kids, but particularly me. Going to Lindisfarne College is not cheap. I got a scholarship to go there, but you still had to buy a uniform, $500 blazer, T-shirts, jandals and things like that, and she just worked extremely hard to give me everything I needed to go forward in life. So that's why I try and do everything I do today is always for my mum. Just knowing what she did for us as kids, and particularly myself. Like I was a little shit, because honestly, growing up, Henry will know this. I mean, when I was 11, we were biking around town and standing outside bottle shops. Someone was walking inside, and don't know where we got this $10 from, but we'd go get this guy $10. He'd go in and get us a drink, and then we'd go out and we'd go to the school and drink this bottle of Mad Jacks or whatever it was. And then we'd sleep in town at the library. So I was heading in a downward spiral, and but I had obviously the potential and the talent to do better, and people saw that, and particularly with my mum. So they sent me to Lindisfarne College, and to this day, the best decision Mum made and I ever made, because without a doubt, I would have probably been in jail. I would have had 10 kids to about 6 other ladies. Like,
don't say that.
I know, but like that's the kind of situation I was at. I would have smoked weed. I would have done a lot of drugs and all of the above, because that's the kind of cycle you're stuck in back at home, and that's what I was heading towards. And then I went to school, surrounded myself around good mates like my man Henry out there, and just steered me in the right direction and made me the man I am today.
What has sport given Izzy Dagg?
Sport has given me everything. It has given me an opportunity to better my life, an opportunity to better my kids' lives. Now I've got 2 beautiful kids, and that just really puts into perspective the importance of family to me. So sport has just given me, it's obviously made my career, it's made me who I am today, but the biggest blessing I'll get from sport is what it did for our family. Like my mum and dad, Dad, I was just with him on the weekend, to this day, he's still so proud. We were driving home, and he was just reflecting on the journey that he went on, going to the 2011 World Cup and then heading to New Plymouth and watching my debut, seeing Richie and Dan walking through and just kicking himself. So that's probably the biggest blessing sport gave me, was the opportunity and the moments that my family got to experience. That's what I'll take from it.
Talk to us about how you felt pulling on that All Black jersey. How did you feel when you wore that jersey?
I was in disbelief, to be honest. Like, so crazy. As a young kid, I was running around my front yard. I didn't have rugby ball, so I'd used to use a slipper or a pillowcase, fill it up with clothes and tie a knot. And I'd be running around and emulating Jonah Lomu or Christian Cullen, or just these legendary players down a cul-de-sac in Hawke's Bay in the middle of nowhere, and trying to believe that I was going to be an All Black. So when I was younger, I just thought they were just like impossible to reach. You never ever become an All Black, Why me, this little hoary kid from Hawke's Bay that's can't even find a rugby ball, he's got to use a slipper, so why me? I guess when I put that jersey on, I was just actually quite shocked and I couldn't really believe it. It was probably before that, when I got named in the team, I was just so crazy because the enormity and how regarded the All Blacks are around the world, and particularly in New Zealand, that just felt impossible. So just the biggest, best moment, doing the haka. I roomed with Joe Rokethoko my first week, you know, standing next to Daniel Carter, like, you know, one of my idols growing up, and just going on the bus with him and just kicking myself. Still to this day, still kick myself. But that moment, pulling that jersey on, you just never beat it. That silver fern on your chest, that blackness. Oh, it's pretty special, Kirst.
Sport has highs and lows. Life has lows and highs, you know. What were the greatest highs that you reached in rugby? Was it that 2011 World Cup final? Was that it for you? Because tell us what your high was.
Oh, I've got so many highs, Kirst, but I've got plenty of lows, and we'll get to those shortly. But my greatest high will have to be the 2011 World Cup. I was only young.
Like?
It was crazy. Like, I was only 21, 22 years of age. I didn't even know how to make my bed. Now I'm trying to go represent my country and trying to win it on our home pitch. So there was a lot of pressure, I must admit. Like, you couldn't even leave your hotel. It was crazy, it was chaos. But that feeling at the end, I guess the whole journey, you just think about it, it was special how united the country got. I remember driving home after the World Cup. We were leaving from Auckland, me and Daisy, and just driving through like the middle of nowhere back to Hawke's Bay. And all the farms and all the paddocks, everyone had All Blacks on their hillsides, you know, everyone painted bales black and white and said, "Go All Blacks." And just like every second farm you drove past, everyone was supporting the All Blacks, and it kind of really hit home how much of the enormity of the thing we were just done. You know, we won the World Cup for the first time since '87 back in our home country, and just really kind of really hit home that it was a pretty awesome thing that we achieved. So 2011 World Cup would have to be, the semi-final was probably my biggest moment. The biggest moment, why that was my biggest moment is the week before I actually got a photo with you, actually, Kirstie, the night I went out in Takapuna. Before the quarter-final, we made a horrible decision to do some things back in our hotel room, and we went out, and the rest is history. We woke up, we were on front page, myself, Corey, Jane, and Zach. We were front page, we were out in Takapuna drinking and doing all sorts too, all mornings, all times in the morning. So that came out, and the worst thing about that was Mills Molina's 100th game, and we should be celebrating a legend of New Zealand rugby, but instead our mugs are on the front page, big headlines, and Mills's little snippets down the right-hand side corner, and we just took away the limelight from him, and that's the one thing that hurts, because he's played 100 games for the All Blacks, and he's a reason why I was able to do the things I do. He's my first roommate back in the All Blacks, and he led me in the right direction. So that's the one thing that hurts, that we did that in the week. But after that, I was meant to get kicked out of the World Cup. So Wayne Smith wanted us gone. But the thing with the World Cup is you can't get rid of players and bring people in. So he stayed, and he was angry. You don't want to see Wayne Smith angry. He is just fires up, real daggers straight to you. Anyway, he wanted us gone. We didn't get gone, and Mills Molina broke his hand in that game. So he broke his hand. They have no other option but idiot Izzy Dagg going to fullback. So I had an opportunity to come back and play that semi-final against Australia at home. And I guess the biggest way you can repay your brothers and your teammates get their faith back is by going out there and perform. And I went out there and I had my best game in the All Blacks jersey at home in front of my family, friends, supporters. It was special. Never forget that little offload in the right-hand corner to Matanonu to set up the first try, and just everything flowed really nicely. So that would have to be one of my biggest highs. And then obviously the weekend after, probably a bit close for comfort, really. 8-7, we only beat France by. And I remember standing out there and Corey James asked me, he's like, what's the move? What's the move? And I'm like, I don't know, because that's how panicky I was. It was just so much pressure. Everything was going on. But 8-7, won the World Cup, and just seeing Richie lifting up the Wee Bellis trophy, and, oh, man, just crazy scenes.
Was it relief? Was it like euphoria? What was that feeling?
Yeah, it was a sense of relief and probably a bit of euphoria for me as well. I think it was more relief for the other players, you know, like Richie and Dan and guys that were at 07. And obviously we've been over in France, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals. So it was probably more relief for them. I think for me, I was so young and, you know, I hadn't really felt defeat, so I didn't know what it was like. So I was just pumped and ready to have a good couple of weeks with the team and enjoy it. But the biggest appreciation I got was looking at Richie and a guy that's foot was nearly about to snap off. He'd just been running around on fumes, but seeing the effort he put in and just seeing his face afterwards, and, you know, getting that job done for him. Because I think about it now, that moment in the World Cup could have cost us the World Cup, you know, when me and Corey went out. And I don't know if I'd be here today if it happened like that. So you think about little moments like that and you reflect, and I'm just really grateful that we got the job done for Richie, Kevin Mialamu, Dan Carter, Conrad Smith, guys that have been trying for so long, that we got it done for them.
How did a 21-year-old Izzy Dagg, who's now like this global superstar, wanting to be on jockey ads and Adidas are wanting a piece of you, how did you handle that? Like, every single person knows who you are now. You're a World Cup winner at home in New Zealand. You can't go anywhere without people recognising you and stopping you.
If I think about it, I probably handled it poorly, if I can be completely honest. Like, I was so young and, you know, I had a beautiful partner and Daisy, and she's obviously a huge reason why I am able to do what I do still to this day. I've been with her 19 years, Kirstie. 19 years. We've been together. It's been a hell of a long time. But yeah, I guess when you get thrown in the limelight and you get thrown into all these teams, it really tests your character, because there are so many temptations out there. There are so many things that you can do, you know, people wanting a bar of you, people pulling you over here. You go to town, social media, phones. So I guess when I was really young, and I never really experienced it, and then I went out and I thought, whoa, I probably soaked it up a bit too much, you know, and got too ahead of myself. And look, I went from 2010 to 2011, and those were my two probably greatest years in the All Blacks, and I got, obviously, still was playing really well. I got endorsements from it. My contracts were, you know, high paid, and I got a reflection of how I was playing and where I was standing in New Zealand rugby. I was like held in high regard here. So there was 2 years there. And then I think about the years following that, and I'm like, and I got dropped, and I was playing poorly. And I started to think about why. And I think about, because it all happened so easily and effortlessly when I started my career, I got to these other years and I thought it would just carry on. And I thought it would just keep happening. And I probably started cutting corners and not putting in the same work and doing the same things I was doing when I didn't have it to get to it. So you get comfortable. And I think that's what happened to me. I thought it was automatic. So that was the hardest thing, is actually nothing's automatic. You got to work for it no matter what. You're never guaranteed tomorrow. You're never guaranteed anything else. You got to go out and you got to get it. So that was the biggest learning for me, was nothing's ever there for you every single day. You've got to just put in the effort and go out there. So yeah, it took a lot of time. And then obviously 2015, I got dropped from the World Cup. And I'll be completely honest, I nearly stepped away from the game. I was distraught. I was heartbroken. I didn't know who I was. You know, we talk about Izzy Dagg, the rugby player. That's all I thought I was, you know. I didn't know if I was anyone else or anything else. And when I got that phone call that I wasn't going to the 2015 World Cup, I was heartbroken. All I could think about was 5 million people laughing at me, just giving me absolute rubbish, the comment section and stuff, the articles that are going to come out. That's what was going through my head. So I said to Daisy, I said, I've had enough. I'm sick of feeling like this. I'm sick of feeling like everyone hates me. Everyone's judging me, everyone's questioning me. Every article that's written so negative, I'm just sick of feeling like it, Days, and I wanna quit. And I was only 27. But the good wife that she is, she said, no, you're not. We're going to go away. We're going to go for a holiday. So we went to America, and one of the biggest, you never think of injuries as a blessing, but I got injured that year, dislocated my shoulder. I had to have 6 months surgery. I was out for 6 months. So that happened. I went over to America, and that was during the 2015 World Cup, so I didn't even watch it. And I went to America, had 6 weeks away with the family, and just probably refound myself. I had a bit of time to reflect, kind of understand what I want to do. Who am I? I'm more than a rugby player. You know, why do I do this? Why do I play the game of rugby? And so it was really good to be able to get away and find that time to come back. Because when I came back and I started playing rugby again, I shrunk my circle. I really brought it all together of why I play this game. Before I got dropped, I was playing for 5 million people. 5 million Kiwis in our small country, playing for them. And every time I dropped the ball, I felt the weight of 5 million people on my shoulders. It was hard and it was heavy. And the reality is that is just impossible. You can't do that. You can't make everyone happy. You can't put smiles on everyone's faces. Some people are going to like you, some people aren't going to like you, and that's just the reality. So for me, I shrunk my circle. I figured out why I play the game, who do I play for, and what do I want to achieve from it. So I just went away. My wife got pregnant with my son, Arlo. So that really brought into perspective. I was like, I've got a son. No matter how hard or how good or how bad I play, I go home, he's still going to cuddle me and laugh with me. So shrunk my circle, figured out who I played for, what I'm about, came back in 2016 and had the best year in the All Blacks jersey. And it was special and enjoyable. I was having so much fun. You know, like I said, I was having a baby. So all the stars were aligning and just had my greatest year. I started playing on the wing, scored 11 tries, the most tries in the season for World Rugby. So just a really awesome year. Just 2016, I'll never forget it.
Daisy, your rock. What does Daisy mean to you?
Daisy.
What has she done for you?
Oh, what hasn't she done? Oh, man, she has done everything for me. Look, honestly, 19 years. We've been through it all. Look, I'll be honest, it hasn't been smooth sailing. We've had our moments, you know. I guess, like I spoke about before, in this limelight, there's people wanting you everywhere, you know, and it's quite easy to fall into those traps. And there's been times that, you know, I was an idiot and I fell into some traps. But she stuck by me and we got through it. And, mate, she's just an absolute gem. Honestly, she doesn't probably get the recognition that she deserves for my success. Like I said before, I was an idiot, but she kept me on the straight and narrow, and she still to this day keeps me on the straight and narrow. But she's always been there, you know, when I was going through bad times. And that's why I want to do this as well, because she probably sees the real me, and a lot of people out there probably don't see the real me. I struggle every day, every single day. I struggle. I wake up and I don't want to get up. I just want to keep those curtains closed. I don't want to see anyone. And I just want to just lie in bed all day and just count the minutes away and not deal with life. You know, it's been a hell of a journey, and she's been there through the thick and thin. And I think the worst thing about it is I take it out on her. I take all my frustrations and all my feelings and my emotions, they get taken out on her. And she's got 2 kids and she's trying to look after me. So, yeah, I guess you need those special people in your lives, and she's that special one for me. She's always been there, and I've known, we've been together since I was 16. So that is the greatest thing I get from Daisy is I met her before even any of this. I was a little hoary Māori boy back in Hawke's Bay that had no money, and she used to pick me up in a rental car and we'd go down and she'd shout me a kebab. Every Sunday we'd have kebabs and watch the TV3 movie. And that's what I love, because she was there before all this fame and All Blacks and success. So she's a genuine one, Kirst.
Do you tell her?
No, I don't tell her. I don't tell her enough, Kirstie. It's I need to tell her more. I try to, because she needs to be told many a times that without her, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I'm really appreciative. But no, I don't tell her, and you need to talk. And I guess that's why I'm here as well, because I want to talk about where I am at with my life. I struggle from depression, and I've never told anyone, and Daisy's always said to me, you need to let people know. You need to tell people that you struggle and you're vulnerable and you're not well. And I'm like, but I was so self-conscious. I was like, nah, I don't want to share it. I don't want anyone else to know, because I got the stigma, Everyone thinks you're weird or they might judge you. So I had all the self-conscious things going through my mind, and I didn't want people to look at me or kind of think of me as a freak. And I know you shouldn't do that, but those are the thoughts that were going through my head. So I didn't want to share it. And then when this opportunity came along, I said, look, I'm going to share it. I'm going to let it all out and just tell people that I struggle. Someone that's got it all, beautiful family, beautiful house, beautiful car, materialistic things, can do anything I ever wanted, but I still wake up and I'm still not happy and I can't figure it out. And so I guess that's why I wanted to share this message, because we are athletes in New Zealand, and we're All Blacks, and everyone thinks we're so manly and so muscly, we're so strong. But the reality is we take that jersey off, we're just normal people, and we feel, we hurt, we struggle. And I think that's the biggest message I'd love to share today, is that we are just like you. We are no different. Reach out, talk, let it out. Don't bottle up like me, because it'll come crashing down.
When did it come crashing down for you? What was the rock bottom?
I think after I retired, I played rugby for 15 years, and I had structure, I had routine, I had everything in place for me. And when I retired, I was like, what am I? Who am I? I deal with, you would have heard of the imposter syndrome. So I deal with that daily, and I heard Sir JK actually talk about it, and he kind of referenced it and put it into a situation, and I was like, that's me. That's me. Honestly, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. Nothing ever, I'm never happy, I'm never satisfied. If I do something, I'm always looking for that one thing I did poorly, and I'm always second-guessing myself. I've got self-doubt. And then you're a good friend, because you always come back and tell me, and you lift me up, which I really appreciate. But honestly, I never, ever feel good enough or worthy enough. I'm doing TV, a few things with Sky. I was back when I was working with Sky, and I don't know, I walked away like that, and I felt like the feeling when I was playing a game or a test match and I played poorly, I felt the same. And I was like, why am I feeling like this? And I'd get the review and they'd say, well done, you did really well, but I'd always not feel good enough. And I think that's the thing I'm trying to deal with at the moment is, who is Izzy Dagg? I'm not the athlete anymore, as you can tell. I've stepped away from the game, so it's trying to find out who I am, because everyone in New Zealand knows Izzy Dagg, the rugby player. But I'm more than that. I'm Izzy Dagg, the son, I'm Izzy Dagg, the husband, and I'm Izzy Dagg, the father. And so it's trying to really figure that out and stay true to that. And that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. Yeah, it's been a journey, and I think my first year out of the game was a real downward point, because I've only just started I started taking depression pills about 3 years ago, but I had to start taking them when I finished rugby. And the reason I started taking them was actually Daisy. pointed it out. And when she said it, I was like, get out, mate, go away. You know, I don't need that. I don't have depression. Why do you think I've got depression? And, you know, started doing a few routines or a few things, doing some reading, and I was like, maybe I do. Because, yeah, I just went in downward spiral, went from training every day to doing nothing, body issues, body image, blew out, put on lots of weight, and just was going for a downward spiral. So I had to do something to fix it. And so I went and seen a doctor and just spoke to him and said, this is what I'm feeling, and this is how, you know, I wake up every day, I feel like this, I don't know why, because I've got everything you could ever dream of. And he said, look, mate, we all need help. You don't, honestly, you'll be amazed with how many people out there need a bit of help. And don't think you're a weirdo, don't think you're a freak, it is normal. So I went and seen a doctor and he gave me these pills and I take them daily. Yeah, so I wake up, take my pill and go about my merry day and get on with it. But yeah, just wanted to share that because I think the reality is with me is I'm so bubbly and I bring a lot of good energy and a lot of good vibes. And I'm always that up guy. I'm that up guy and I want people to know that I'm not always that up guy. Everyone out there gets probably the best Izzy Dagg. But then I go home and my family get the worst Izzy Dagg, and that's the hardest thing. So I just want to, I struggle and I think I need to find that balance because it's unattainable, like bringing all this energy and being like this every single day for every minute. You're just going to drain and it'll come crashing down. So, yeah, I'm all right now. I'm on my journey. I'm enjoying it.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Love you, my mate.
I love you too. No, it's thank you. Thank you for listening to our story, and I really love what you're doing. Like I talked to a few people back in Christchurch about this, and yeah, they just I think it needs to be done because athletes are portrayed as the invincible, but man, we're the total opposite. We are the weakest, but yeah. Hopefully you got some good gravy out of that.
What's your proudest moment?
Proudest moment was having kids. Honestly, just the proudest moment. Your little friends, man, they are just so cool. You had a horrible day, you go home and they make you laugh. They crack you up. And I'm still trying to make them watch my YouTube clips. I always go put the YouTube clips. I'm like, oh, watch Dad. Come watch Dad. He was good. Come on. They're like, Dad, turn this off. I hate rugby. I'm like, oh, no. So the coolest thing is they don't really know what I've done and what I've been able to achieve. I guess one day when they grow up and they're a little bit older, they'll probably get a bit more of an understanding. But, yeah, mate, they just so much fun. Just... if you've had a poor day, they just make you forget about it all. And the kisses, the hugs, the love you dads, you know, when you're feeling down, just go give them a hug and say, I love you. And they say, I love you, Dad. It's pretty cool. And so that'll be my proudest moment.
Can you believe, sitting here now, that little hoary boy from the Hawke's Bay they used to stand outside liquor stores and sleep in town. Hasn't been easy, but can you believe the journey that you've been on in the last 30-odd years?
Can't believe it. I actually can't. And like, if I write a book one day, read it because you will be amazed or blown away with some of the situations and scenarios I faced. And, you know, this isn't shine, or, you know, no disrespect to my mum and dad, they worked extremely hard, but we had it tough. We had breakups, we had no food. So, yeah, when I write that book, have a read because you'll be pretty wild. So I guess the thing I'd love to tell kids is, like, no dream is too big because if I can do it from Hawke's Bay in this cul-de-sac, living in a state house, paying rent and the power goes off every week, anyone can do it. So that's what I want to try and share. Like, you don't have to be from Auckland, you don't have to be from Wellington. You could be from Murupara in the middle of the East Coast. You are good enough. You just got to work really hard. So don't stop dreaming, don't stop believing. And, yeah, try and follow your dreams and make them come true, because mine did, and mine still are happening to this day. I'm still enjoying this journey, but the last 30 years, crazy.
Can you listen to your own advice and believe in yourself that you are good enough?
I tried to, Kirst, but you know, have those doubts, eh? Those little doubts always creep in. I don't know why, but yeah, I've always just been a doubter. Like, I'm a confidence player. If I catch that ball or I do something spectacular in the first minute, watch me. Honestly, have the best game ever, carve up. If I drop it, oh man, just walk away, because it's going to be a horrible day. So I'm all about confidence, and yeah, I need to believe in myself and stop second guessing myself. Look, it's hard for me because I've stepped into an industry that's different and it's foreign for me. I'm in the media and I'm working on radio.
And you're amazing.
I'm working on radio, I'm working on TV, and I guess the hardest thing is when you're a rugby player, you're always putting yourself out there. You know, you're putting yourself on a pedestal, and people can have opinions about you and can say things about you. And at the moment, I'm doing the same because I'm on the radio, I'm on TV. So I've kind of transitioned from playing to being a broadcaster, and it's kind of similar, but really enjoying the journey and learning so much about myself and sport in New Zealand. Like, we've got so many talented athletes that have come on and shared their stories as well, which is great news. But that's what I'm loving, just seeing, for a small nation of 5 million people, how much success we have on the world stage. It's freaking crazy.
Okay, one last thing.
Yeah.
You know how you never tell Days enough?
Yeah?
She's listening. Drop your guard. What are you saying to her?
Is she listening?
If she was.
Oh, I thought your phone was on. Look, I'd just say, I don't know. I'd just say I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that you've done for me, but not only me, my family, like my kids. You brought me my greatest gift, 2 beautiful kids. So I'd just say thank you, and I'm sorry for 90% of the time where I'm a messy bugger and I leave things lying around and I'm so unorganised, and I apologise. But hey, I'm me. But thank you, and I love you.
That's why we love you.
All good?
Ah, me. Listen, looking for you. All right.